What's up, my fellow ape? Welcome to the all-new Young Ape Academy by Nova Investing, where I teach you stock market terms, techniques, and things you need to know to be more profitable in the stock market when trading stocks. In today's episode, we're going to talk about a short squeeze in light of what's happening with AMC at the moment. So let's get started with it. First of all, these are some important things, fundamental things that you need to know in order to understand what a short squeeze is. You need to understand how it's generated, who does it, and all of that. So we're gonna talk about what is shorting, who shorts a stock, how shorting works, how you can make money and also lose money when you short a stock. How can you short a stock yourself? Who lends the stocks, which you'll understand later on. How can you lend your shares? What triggers a short squeeze, which is, the meat and the bones. This is what you came here for. How is it triggered? And also where to find short interest information, which you will understand what that means later on. First, what is shorting? Well, shorting is a bearish sentiment where you expect the price of a stock to drop, and essentially it's the opposite of buying a stock low and then selling it high, which is what you would normally do when you're trying to profit off of the market. Essentially, shorting is the opposite. You're betting that the stock will drop in price. So who shorts a stock? Anybody can really short a stock, but typically hedge funds and big whales, usually called market makers, short stocks. Hedge funds use this method to hedge for market risk. So you can also do that, right? You can also short a stock, and you'll see how you can do that later in this video. But pretty much, yeah, big whales, hedge funds, and then big institutions, anybody can. Now, how shorting works. Essentially, you let your broker lend your shares to someone else, and that someone else uses those shares to sell them short to make money. Then they return your shares and you get them back. Pretty much what you see right here. This is the broker, and the broker, let's say we're going to use Webull or Robinhood as an example. You let them lend your shares. Let's say you have a lot of shares of Apple, and you know you're not going to sell them because you're expecting Apple to go up in price. Let's say you're expecting Apple to go to $500 a share in like 5 years. So you're not going to sell them really. So you can either keep them there, sell cover calls, that's another technique, or you can let your broker use it. So you let them use your shares, right? Here's Webull. And then you give Webull your shares, and they're like, okay, you're not going to be able to trade them because we're going to keep them right here, but we'll give you a fee. And you're like, oh yeah, good. They pay you every month too. I think it's like 15% of however much they charge other people. They give you 15% of it. That's fine, right? It's like putting your money in a bank account and saying, you can lend my money to someone else if you want, as long as you give me a little bit of that cut, right? So Webull takes those shares and they lend them to someone else. So a short seller, you see that big whale right here, or a hedge fund, says, hey Webull, do you have 100 shares of Apple that I can use? I want to be able to short them. And they're like, yeah, I have 100 shares of it, but you have to pay me 8% annually. Meaning if you keep them for 1 year, let's say however much, let's say if after buying those 100 shares, the cost is like $2,000, for the big whale pays $2,000 for your shares to Webull, and then every month they have to pay that fee, and then they give you a little bit of money from that fee, 15%. So then Webull takes those shares, gives them to the short seller, the whales or the hedge funds. Then those hedge funds sell your shares to the market. So pretty much they're gonna sell shares that they don't have. Like you gave them to Webull. Webull let them use them. It's like if I was to take this right here, Claritin. I give it to Webull, right? And then Webull gives it to them here and lets them use it. Then they sell it in the market. Like they're selling my shares in the market, right? So they sell it to this young boy right here. He buys them shares. And then when they're ready to, when they make profit, and the way they make profit is if the stock price, I'm talking about the big whales, if the stock price goes down, they make money. It's the opposite. And you'll understand how later on. But for now, just trust me. So let's say they bought your shares of Apple for $120 per share, right? And they're paying some interest on it. Then they're selling them here in the market at 120, obviously, right? So this guy buys them. And then Apple all of a sudden goes to $80 a share. So massive drop. Obviously, you know, this guy bought them at 120. So right now it's at 80. He's losing money. You're not. You're making money. So the way you get out of that, you know, agreement, you know, you're borrowing money. When you borrow money to a bank, the way you get out is obviously you pay that money back and then you're paying interest on that. But that's how you get out of that. The way you get out of a short sale, you have to, first you sold the shares to someone else, right? You sold them to this little guy. So what do you do now? You buy them back. So you sold them for 120 and then you buy them back for 80. So once you are done using those shares, you know, you pretty much used them, then you buy them back and they come back to you, the short seller. You have them now. But the short seller gives it back to the broker and now he keeps the difference. So he sold them for 120 and then he bought them back for 80. That would be a $40 profit per share. So you see how can they make a lot of money? This is an example. You're looking at the stock APE, APE, and the current price is $10. So you believe that stock APE will drop in price in the next few weeks. So you borrow 100 shares of APE. You are a hedge fund or a big whale. I'm talking to you, big whale. So you're going to borrow 100 shares of APE and immediately you sell them in the market. Now, young boy Mark Ape Nuts buys those 100 shares at $10. Remember, you borrow them at $10, right? So you're going to sell them at $10 quickly. And then the share price of Ape drops to $5 per share. Like it drops 50% down immediately, seconds after young boy Mark Ape Nuts buys them. Per usual, that's what happens. So you close your position by buying back those 100 shares for $5. Remember, you sold them for 10, you're buying them back for 5 per share. And return them to the lender, in which case it could be Webull per se as an example. But you have to pay the lender some interest rate, like I talked about, for the shares loaned to you. You essentially made $5 per share, so it was 100 shares, so 5 times 100, you made $500 in profit. That's beautiful. Now, that's you making money. Now I'm gonna continue with this same stock. Now it's at $5, and I'm gonna continue how you lose money. So you already closed your position as the whale. You gave them back to the lender, right? They're back. You buy another 100 shares of Ape and immediately sell them in the market. Now Mark Ape Nuts buys those 100 shares again at $5 to average down because he's obviously losing money, so he wants to average down. He buys them at $5 per share. The share of Ape skyrockets to $20 per share. Remember, it was at 5, so he had to average down, and then the stock went all the way up to 20. And you're afraid that the share price, and I'm talking to you, whale, you're afraid that Ape, will keep going up as the Reddit degenerates keep buying more and more and more shares. So you close your position at a loss because you're like, okay, if it went from 5 to 20 in a matter of a day, this thing can go to 200. Then I'm going to be in big trouble. I might as well close it right now for a loss. Or I can wait, but I don't want to risk it. So you buy the shares back at 20 per share. So your loss in this case would be $15 per share equals to $1,500. So you would have lost $1,500 because you sold them at 5 and then you bought them back at 20. So you're paying 15 extra for them, meaning you're losing like $1,500. So how do you short a stock? First, you borrow it from your broker, like I said. Let's say Webull, and they charge you 15% interest, cost to borrow fee, CTB. You'll see this term in a lot of different websites that report this type of data. Now, this fee goes up or down depending on the difficulty of borrowing a stock. So as an example, you borrow 300 shares of Ape, which is trading at $10 for a total of $3,000. That's how much you paid for it. You're borrowing 300 shares at $10 per share. That's 300 times 10 is 3,000. And then you're paying 15%, remember. For every day you keep the shares, you have to pay $3,000 times 10%. That would be how much you're going to pay in 1 year, divided by 360 days in 1 year. So every day you're paying $1.25 to Webull, right? So the way you short a stock, I'm not sure, I saw this in one video. I don't have a margin account, but if you have a margin account, apparently Webull added this new button that says short. Initially, or before, you only had buy and sell. So you would buy and you would sell. And the way you would short a stock is like, let's say you had 0 shares of Apple and you're trying to short it. You would click and sell, but you didn't have any shares anyways. So you automatically would be shorting the stock. But now they added this button that says short to make it more, I guess, clear that you're shorting a stock. So you just click that button. I don't know how it is for other brokers, but I'm sure you can figure it out what it is for yours. I'm not sure if Robinhood lets you short stocks. I know that Webull does. Now, I want to talk about that fee, that cost to borrow fee, and how it fluctuates. You can see this information in iborrowdesk.com for free or ortix.com for $49 a month. This is the cheapest, I think. This is the average, by the way, the average. So they take the minimum, the maximum for the day, and then they look at the average and they give you the average number. So it fluctuates like you see, you know, it fluctuates in price. So you can find that information there, like I said. If you're trying to short stocks and if you care about how much it is for the fee, you should probably care about it. Now I want to talk about who lends the stocks. Now essentially you can lend stocks yourself by enrolling in a security lending program from your broker like Webull, but a good chunk of those shares are being lent by institutions like Banks of America, and big organizations. Now how do you lend your stocks? So this is the program from Webull. It's the stock lending income program. So pretty much you let Webull, you enroll in it, and they're gonna keep your stocks in jail. As long as they're borrowed, they're paying you for it. You can pause here and read this example from Webull, but it's pretty much exactly what I talked about, how it works. Right here you can see the same type of formula. So what triggers a short squeeze? This is exactly what you came here for, and exactly what I love to talk about and explain to you today. Now that you know all those different terms. Now, this stock has been getting shorted all the way down to like, what is it, like $6. As you see right here, it probably was at 70 before, and they took it down to all the way to 7, right? So you can see how many shares are being shorted, meaning they're being borrowed and they're being shorted in the market. That information, you can find it in ortix.com and other places. Some websites you pay, some are free. I'm going to use one example of what could trigger, a stock. Let's say hedge funds are shorting stock Ape, and they're just pummeling and they're just, just pushing it down all the way. One of the triggers could be Wall Street bets, and a lot of apes, you and me, they see that this stock is being pushed down, like AMC. And we care about AMC, right? We like AMC. We don't want to see AMC go bankrupt. We loved AMC when we were kids. We like it now. We don't like the big whales playing with AMC and pushing it down like that. So we're heroes. We come in and then we assemble an army of apes. Strong apes, young apes, old apes, all kinds of apes. And they start buying AMC. Boom, boom, boom. They're like, okay, look guys, these guys are shorting AMC like crazy. Look at the short interest. We got to start buying it and pumping it up, And then so everybody starts knowing about AMC and they want to help out, and they start putting their money on AMC and then just buying. And then obviously the more they buy, the more demand is for AAC. That price is going to start going up. You see, it starts going up. So once people see that price starts going up, now it's at 14. It was at 7. Now it's at 14. You see all the people, all the retail traders, meaning you, me, and others, non-apes and apes, they start looking at it and they're like, holy cow, look at that. AMC is going up again. I want to get in. So they start buying. Now they didn't know about the short interest or nothing. They just see the stock going up and they want it. So they start buying and then it keeps going up. At this point, right, you see it right now, it's like a 40 something. At this point, those whales that were shorting the stocks, they're losing money. Oh, sorry. They're losing money. They're like, wait. I thought it was going to go to $2. You know, it was at 7 and it went all the way up to 40. I'm losing a lot of money. I can wait for this to go back down again, maybe short it even more up here, or I can get out of it now because this thing may go to $500. So I'm losing a lot of money right now. I can get out now or I can wait. So they get out here. What happens when they get out? To close their position and get out, they have to buy those shares back. Remember? They sell them first, then they buy them back. So by buying back their shares, they're buying shares. So they become a buyer. So they buy shares, pushing the stock price up a lot more. So it's like a whole cycle. It was initiated here. It was triggered. It wasn't natural. And then they keep buying and they push it up. Here, now we have the young apes. They're kind of scared, but they believe in the old apes right here, the starter ones. The old apes are the real MVPs and the real OGs. So the young apes start buying because they're like, oh my God, here we go again. And then you keep getting a lot of FOMO. A lot of people that have fear of missing out. Stock traders keep buying. And then the price drops down because of FUD, and then the news are talking about it and they're saying, oh, you're gonna lose a lot of your money if you keep investing in AMC. It's not worth this much. It's worth $0. So a lot of paper hands start selling their shares. So they're like, I'm scared. I'm getting out of here. I made $2. I'm good. And then here you have some whales offloading again, and then boom, they push the price up again. Here you have some of the old apes. And they're like, we got to keep pushing this up. If we don't, the price is going to start, the paper hands are going to start selling. So then you have the OG old apes keep buying. You have the FOMO, and then you have the young apes buying, and they're pushing the price up. And then you have more whales offloading. You see how it just, everybody keeps on piling up, and then the price just keeps on going up. And you can see right here on the right, I have the Gamestop short squeeze graph. So it was at $12 when it initially started. It was around $3, and then that was the old apes starting to push up the price, and then some of the whales offloading so they can make some profit, and then all of a sudden you saw this huge just spike, right, all the way up to 483, or yeah. So it's a whole cycle of things that just keep happening. So how do you find this information? The short interest information is released twice a month by mid-month and end of month, and you can find it under share statistics in any websites for free, or some are paid. For example, Yahoo Finance, Ortex, and others, Ortex.com. Some services like Ortex.com have live short interest estimated data, which can help you track the short interest more accurately, meaning you don't have to wait for the end of the month. You don't have to wait for the mid-month. It gives you estimated live short interest data. All right, young apes, I will see you in the next class. I hope you have luck this week and have a good trading week.